Welcome back to Reds Fusion LFC, your home for all the latest breaking Liverpool news and transfer updates. Today we've got huge stories as the Reds ramp up their pursuit of Alexander Isak, Michael Olise, face a battle for Marc Guehi, and make a big call on Harvey Elliott's future. Stick around, because this is one transfer roundup you don't want to miss. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to stay updated with every twist and turn in the transfer window. Liverpool structure fresh record, Alexander Isak transfer bid to tempt Newcastle. Liverpool are preparing their next bid for Alexander Isak, with this offer likely to get close to the British record valuation that could see the Swede make the switch. To Anfield, Liverpool are preparing a fresh offer of $130 million as they look to land Alexander Isak from Newcastle in the final days of the transfer window. The Reds have been pursuing the Swede for weeks after it emerged that he wanted to leave St. James's Park, but their opening offer of $100 million was rejected, and they had been holding off on lodging a second bid as Newcastle dug their heels in. The Magpies had maintained that Isak would not be sold, especially as they were struggling to get signings through the door. Their striker, though, maintained that he would not be playing for the club again and was training away from the first team, having not featured in pre-season. Newcastle value Isak at 150 meters, which dwarfs the 116 meters including add-ons that Liverpool paid to land Florian Wirtz earlier this summer. The Telegraph claims that their latest offer will start at 130 meters before add-ons and bonuses increase. The overall package. That is likely to prove hugely tempting for those at St. James's Park. That figure would see them receive double the amount they paid for Isak when they signed him from Real Sociedad back in 2022. Isak has excelled throughout his time in Newcastle, morphing into one of Europe's best strikers. He is the leading light at St. James's Park, but there is a growing acceptance that the 27-year-old, who has scored 62 times in 109 appearances, will move on to their Premier League rivals. His exit will be easier to stomach after Eddie Howe's agreed. A deal to land Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart. The Germany international, who was firmly on Bayern Munich's radar, will cost Newcastle a club record 69.2 meters. Already this summer, the Magpies have seen offers for Wolves striker Jurgen Strand Larsen and Brentford's Yohan Wissa both turned down. Benjamin Sesko was also on their radar, and they made the first move before Manchester United pounced to land the Slovenian. Newcastle's opening games of the season have been dominated by Isak's future. Howe left him out for the draw at Aston Villa, and then, when Liverpool came to town, the Swede was again absent as the Reds scored a winner in the 100th minute to settle a 5-goal thriller. Liverpool interest in Michael Olise confirmed as Bayern Munich release clause. Rumours cleared up Liverpool are pushing to sign a new forward before transfer deadline day as Arne Slot aims to bolster his forward line. The Reds look a little light, heading into the new season, and are attempting to wrap up a mammoth deal to sign Alexander Isak. However, while Isak would complete Liverpool's attack for the season ahead, Slot may look to keep the evolution coming during 2026. Although Mohamed Salah has signed a contract until 2027, Liverpool do need to start thinking expressly how to replace the Egyptian legend. The signings of Hugo Ekitike and, hopefully, Isak will do that to a degree, but the Reds may yet need a more like-for-like replacement on the right side. And according to German journalist Christian Falk, Liverpool are eyeing Bayern Munich's Michael Olise as a potential future solution. Liverpool interested in future deal for Michael Olise clearly. There is no chance of Liverpool signing Olise this summer. Even if they desperately wanted to, they could not sign the 23-year-old before Monday's deadline. Instead, Olise seems to be more of a long-term target. But speaking to CFBayernInsider.com, Falk says that those interested in the Frenchman, including Liverpool, will not be aided by a release clause in his contract. It reportedly does not exist. It is true, Premier League clubs have Michael Olise on their radar, the reporter says. The Frenchman is currently in top form. PSG are interested in Olise, and as a Frenchman, he would fit perfectly into the Ligue 1 outfit's philosophy. But in England, too, there is annoyance that the player was not kept in the Premier League. Only Newcastle made a serious effort but lost the poker game against Bayern Munich. Crystal Palace boss shuts down Marc Guehi to Liverpool transfer. He has to stay. Liverpool remain keen to sign Marc Guehi before the summer transfer window closes on Monday night. But Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner is desperate to keep. His captain, Crystal Palace manager Oliver Glasner, has begged the club hierarchy to reject any offer from Liverpool for Marc Guehi before the transfer window closes. There are now just 4 days remaining until the summer transfer window shuts for business, and Glasner is desperate to keep hold of his captain. Liverpool entered talks to sign the centre-back earlier this month, but have so far been unwilling to meet Palace's $40 million valuation. The Reds are confident of striking a deal for a lower price, because Guehi has entered the final year of his contract, and Palace chairman Steve Parish knows they can't afford to lose him for nothing next summer. Guehi started as Palace drew 0-0, with Norwegian side Fredrikstad to qualify for the Conference League phase on Thursday night, and Glasner has now publicly contradicted Parish's statement due to concerns over signing potential replacements so late in the window. From my side, now it is Friday and the window closes on Monday. He has to stay, Glasner said in a press conference. He has to, because I think it is not possible at the moment to find a Marc Guehi replacement who can play straight away in the Premier League, being a starter for Crystal Palace, being consistent. When we see our foundation of the success we've had in the last couple of months, and also the foundation of going into the group stage of the Conference League, is out defense. We had 2 clean sheets against Fredrikstad. We've had 5 games, played with 3 clean sheets. We've conceded just 1 goal in the Premier League, so this is our foundation. Marc is a crucial part. He's the captain, an English international. He has the most Premier League experience in the whole back line. Getting now the right replacement, I think, is almost impossible. Asked about Guehi's focus, Glasner added, I think he shows it in every game. He's focused, and again, if Marc had said at one moment, I want to leave Crystal Palace, the deal would have happened already weeks ago because of his situation. Newcastle shoved Tottenham aside for second striker signing that unlocks Isak to Liverpool. Newcastle can complete a second striker signing in quick succession with a late Tottenham push expected to come to nothing, and the pieces for Alexander Isak's transfer to Liverpool are finally falling into place. The Magpies are finalizing the club record signing of Nick Woltemade from Stuttgart. A 69-minute deal, add-ons included, has been agreed, and the talented German is viewed as the like-for-like replacement for Isak. However, before Newcastle will begrudgingly sell the Swede to Liverpool, they want a second striker signed and for the Reds to improve upon their opening bid of 110 million plus add-ons. Liverpool are fully prepared to do their part with a fresh offer worth a reported 130. That puts the ball in Newcastle's court, and per the latest from Ben Jacobs and Craig Hope, they're zeroing in on striker signing number 2. Taking to X, the Daily Mail's Hope, who specializes in covering Newcastle, reaffirmed it's Yoane Wissa who Newcastle want. The 28-year-old will not be included in Brentford's squad to face Sunderland on Saturday and remains intent on forcing through a move to St. James's Park. Tottenham, at the behest of Wissa's former manager Thomas Frank, have shown interest in signing Wissa throughout the summer. Hope stated Tottenham are still in the mix, though Wissa wants Newcastle and Newcastle only. Yoane Wissa is not expected to be part of Brentford's squad at Sunderland tomorrow as he awaits progress on move to Newcastle, wrote Hope. Spurs still interested, but player wants NUFC, who are closing Nick Woltemade before turning attention to second striker. Brentford ready to sell Yoane Wissa. A separate update from Ben Jacobs confirmed Newcastle are moving once again for Wissa. Personal terms will not be an issue, with the only barrier to a deal being a club-to-club agreement. Brentford have moved the goalposts on several occasions and are said to be demanding 50 million and potentially even as high as 60 million for Wissa. Newcastle's last bid totaled just 40 million, 35 million plus 5 million in add-ons. However, reporting on Friday afternoon, Jacobs insisted Brentford are now prepared to sanction a sale if they can find a replacement of their own. Newcastle haven't given up on signing Yoane Wissa, declared Jacobs. Brentford prepared to sanction a sale if they find another attacker. Eddie Howe offers cryptic Alexander Isak transfer hint after new twist in Liverpool saga. Newcastle United boss Eddie Howe with the latest update on Alexander Isak's future. As a deal for Nick Woltemade nears Newcastle United, boss Eddie Howe offered a cryptic hint over Alexander Isak's future, saying, "You can't just be oblivious to things that have happened." Premier League champions Liverpool saw a 110-meter offer rejected for Isak at the start of August and have been awaiting further encouragement, while the Magpies have attempted to secure the two strikers that could theoretically pave the way for the Sweden international's acrimonious exit. Isak refused to travel on the club's pre-season tour of the Far East in July and returned to training by using the facilities of his former club Real Sociedad before being made to work alone, away from his colleagues, upon his Tyneside return. An explosive statement that complained of broken promises and lost trust earlier this month, just moments after the forward was named in the PFA's 24-25 Team of the Year on August 19th, was met hours later by a Newcastle response that stated the requirements for Isak to be allowed to leave for Anfield had not yet been met. However, the Magpies look to have finally made a breakthrough as they close in on Stuttgart's Germany under-21 striker Nick Woltemade for around 65 million, and Howe was coy when asked what that meant for Isak's future on Friday. "It's difficult for me to give you any sort of clarity on the future," Howe said. "I've said before, I don't know what the future holds in that respect because I'm not involved with it myself. I've got no update, and I'm just focusing on bringing players into the club. You can't be oblivious to things that have happened. You've got to look at all the information. I have a footballing preference, but then you have to take everything else into account. You can't just be oblivious to things that have happened." Howe continued, "Not too much to say on Woltemade, but positive signs. I think things are moving and developing in a good way at the moment. Can't confirm anything, but fingers crossed. I don't think that's possible to register him for Leeds this weekend, due to lots of reasons I don't understand. The most important thing is that we try and bring a center forward in. That's what we've been working towards all summer, so hopefully we're getting closer." Quizzed if the move for Woltemade could aid his side's chances of signing Isak, Liverpool head coach Slot said at his own press conference this morning, "Newcastle have signed, if it's true, a new number 9, so that's very nice for Eddie because Anthony Gordon is suspended and Isak has not been training with the team a lot, so it's nice for them to have another number 9. Liverpool make Harvey Elliott transfer decision after 51B. Tottenham Hotspur. Move Liverpool will look to resist any late attempts to lure Harvey Elliott away from Anfield before the September 1st transfer deadline. Liverpool will look to resist a late attempt to take Harvey Elliott before Monday's transfer deadline. Arne Slot is determined to retain the England under-21 hero for the season ahead. West Ham United were understood to have shown an interest earlier this summer, and the Premier League champions have been in talks with RB Leipzig over a potential deal that is connected to Xavi Simons' future. Dutch winger Simons is now on the cusp of a 51-meter move from Leipzig to Tottenham Hotspur. That is expected to lead to increased interest from the Bundesliga side as they try to recruit a replacement for the 22-year-old. However, the Echo understands Liverpool are planning for the campaign ahead with Elliott as part of their ranks, and will only consider a sale that would represent an incredible profit on a player who joined for a minimal fee of around $4 from Fulham in 2019 via a tribunal hearing. With players like Tyler Dibbling to Everton, Jacob Ramsey to Newcastle United, Matthias Fernandes to West Ham United, and Omari Hutchinson to Nottingham Forest, all moving for figures of between 38 meters and 42 meters in recent days, Liverpool feel the true valuation for 22-year-old Elliott, who was integral to an England side who won the European Under-21 Championship in June, far exceeds the current market rate. Liverpool's stance is perhaps backed up by Newcastle United's impending 65 million deal for Nick Woltemade, the Germany under-21 international who played against Elliott and his England colleagues in the Euros final back on June 30th, Stuttgart striker. Woltemade finished as runner-up to Elliott as the player of the tournament in Bratislava, and Reds head coach Slot wants to keep the versatile midfielder around beyond Monday night's September 1st deadline. Speaking during the Hong Kong leg of the club's preseason tour of Asia in July, Elliott said of his future, "If I had it my way, I would be here for the rest of my career. It's as simple as that. I love everything about the club, but at the same time, I kind of need to be selfish and see what's best for me. I have big ambitions. I want to get in the World Cup squad. I want to keep being successful as a player. It's something I still need to review. I need to have a talk with everyone and review the situation. We have many new players who have come in, so whether it blocks the path for me, I'm not sure. It's something I need to have a look at and decide."